But that's pretty much it for the checkpoint. So, Frank, I'm going to throw it over to you for the patch notes.
Okay, thank you. Our first article this week comes from Kotaku. Report, Naughty Dog is working on a Last of Us remake for PS5 by Brian Ashcraft. So guys, a Last of Us remake is in the works at Naughty Dog under the name T1X. The remake has been in development for a while under a studio led by Michael Mumbauer. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Jokingly named by Sony as Naughty Dog South. Reportedly, Sony greenlit the project under a probationary basis and did not provide any necessary funding or support to help the studio develop the project efficiently. Due to the expensive nature of the project, in 2020, Mumbar and his team were moved over to instead help with the finishing touches on The Last of Us Part 2, and T1X has since been taken over by the Naughty Dog core group itself. So what do we think about this one? This one's kind of a yikes on Sony's part for many reasons. But I know Mario had some words that he wanted to share about this, so I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, I prepared a special cam for this. Let's see if it worked. Let's see. Okay, hey. Hi, how's it going? What the fuck are you doing, Sony?
Well, you clipped your microphone, so we didn't hear the.
No, it can't clip.
Good job.
It can't clip because I have an anti-clip thing. So yeah. What the fuck? Why do this? It doesn't make a lick of sense. Other than obviously they want this ready for, I guess, the TV show, but at the same time, like, you already have a perfectly good version that just plays on your system already. If not, just up-res that to a PS5 version. Literally, that's all you did when the PS3 version came out. You just up-res the textures and put a nice little sheen on it.
Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
You know, like you did that for PS4, and now you can't just do that for PS5. I don't understand the need for this early. This game is barely 10 years old. It's not even. And we're talking about remaking it already?
How many releases are we gonna get? How many more releases are we gonna get? The Last of Us or Mario re-releases?
I feel like this is going to be like Kingdom Hearts, where it's going to be like 1.2, 1.5.3. The Ultimate Edition.
Nobody's gonna do what they do with Kingdom Hearts. That's Tetsuya Nomura. Nobody can fuck something up more than Tetsuya Nomura. So let's
let's be real here. Nobody can fuck up like just remakes better than them. You know.
And I'm curious of what's going on with Neil Druckmann, because I know he's working on the TV show. And I know they have to be working on something, not just this, because that would be ridiculous in my opinion. But
what wasn't Factions a thing?
Factions supposedly is still a thing. Yeah, Factions. Oh well, yeah, no, because they've teased around this specific thing, and Neil Druckmann has said, you know, it's like, hey, we know what you really want. It's coming. Don't worry. But eventually we'll get there. So Factions will definitely, I still think, will be a thing this generation. But at the same time, I'm just like, why even touch the story? And granted, the only major thing that is different between if you played 1 and 2 is that there is maybe a character that Joel holds on to and kills is different in 2. But that is subtextually doesn't matter in my opinion. It just does not matter. I just don't get it. On top of that, there's some other stuff that obviously this is a big part of that story. The other part is apparently Sony Ben pitched Days Gone 2, and they were like, nah, don't worry about it. So the studio might be put on to do another sequel to a totally different other game. I would rather have than made it
currently in pre-production for something, but that's about it.
Yeah. So
Sony Ben is in pre-production for a game. Who knows what it is?
Who knows
That's all I know.
It's definitely not Days Gone 2 because that's been canceled.
We do know that it's not
been
Days
straight
Gone
up
2.
canceled.
I bet it's like Uncharted, but they're remastering Golden Abyss.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. That was the other kind of like
something new.
Yeah, that's the thing. The thing that's been floating around, especially with this article when I was trying to find a good source for it, was that there was also a Uncharted remake in the works, but nobody could really corroborate that. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's false. But apparently might be an Uncharted remake going on here too as well. But I don't know.
Yeah, And as someone said it very succinctly, and I think you share, or you were part of that conversation that I saw, but it was Jack Tretton talking about how it's not so much about making money as about the spirit of the game, stuff like that. And I feel like that's completely not represented this new generation of just things just feeling corporate as hell and gross and not communicative and just I just feel disgusted by this.
I don't feel like people should be reminded of this, but I feel like people do forget that these are companies at the end of the day. They are big companies who make big money. And the bottom line is it's about money at the end of the day. Fanboying over whether or not they have better exclusives or this or that. Your plastic console, that is not going to matter the next generation. And just because you bought it one generation doesn't mean that they owe you anything the next. It's going to be, there's always going to be this weird dynamic of who is quote unquote the winner of one generation than the other. Like Sony could do nothing wrong in the PS4 era. They were top of their game. And that really does come from the momentum that they had over Xbox when Xbox announced their Xbox One, made some dumb mistakes. They played on those mistakes, and their PR team did an insane job to like gas up Sony. And they rolled with it. They rolled with being the people's console, and now they're making mistakes that it's like, how could you make these mistakes when you have all this marketing and stuff like that shows that you thought otherwise. At the end of the day, it's just money. They know people will buy their console no matter what they do. I
agree with you, and I think a large part of it, and we don't really know what ended up happening, but is it Jack? No, it's not Jack Tretton. It's Sean Layden. Like randomly, 1 week was just gone. They just like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm done. No follow-up, no real major talk about it, just sort of disappeared. And he was a big part of that last regime with Kazurai and Shuhei Yoshida. And they, at the very least, during the PS4 era, made it feel like a place where I want it to be in terms of accessibility to games. There's a lot more focus on indie titles at that time. At the same time, they've had hitter after hitter after hitter with their big titles. 100%. I see that. And I still think they're going to still have those for this generation. But man, has the marketing this time around just been so tone deaf the same way that Xbox was the previous generation. Mm-hmm. And Phil Spencer fucking resurrected that goddamn group up to the point where I have so much faith in free will that I feel bad that I didn't buy their console because I feel like they've done so much extra that didn't need to happen. They didn't need to boost your old games. They didn't need to put your damn old games available on these systems. And I feel like they've just applied so much extra things. They're buying now massive studios and things like that. Like, obviously, they're trying to gain market share and gain the system. And yes, they're a corporation first. But god damn, do they know how to talk to the consumer and respond when bad things happen.
Yeah. I think what it comes down to is, Sony and Microsoft, they're both corporations. They're trying to do whatever's going to be best for the monetary result. And right now for Sony, that is, taking advantage of those big titles. You want to take advantage of the name Naughty Dog. You want to take advantage of the name Last of Us. So if they're going to make a remake and sell it for $70, that's what they're going to do. And for Microsoft right now, what's getting them the big bucks, what's bringing in the money, is being that consumer-friendly platform. We have the best console and the cheapest console. You have all of your games. And they're just coming at it from, like, two totally different perspectives. All that to say, I think we answered the question. None of us want a Last of Us remake.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I'll be real with you. As much as I probably, it sounds even in this article that I kind of shit on it. I did like Last of Us Part 1. It was a great game. I do love the multiplayer of that game. I would like to see a remastered version of that multiplayer. What kills this for me, is just the mistreatment of like a smaller studio. That's what really kind of hurts me a little bit. It's the way Sony kind of said, well, you're not our Naughty Dog, so we're not going to give you money. We're not going to give you any kind of support to make this project. We're not even going to give you a goddamn name. We're going to joke around and say you're a Naughty Dog's South. And then go, okay, well, you guys need money? Well, how about this? We're going to push you guys to our ongoing project, which was Last of Us Part 2, and then we're going to take this project away from you and give it to them instead. It's like, come on, Sony.
Did they say what
really
happened to that group afterwards? Like, is it still part of it?
Most of those people are gone at this point,
really?
from what I read up. Yeah, most of those people are gone. I know, and again, this is all reports, so anything could be wrong here. Anything could be information that could be changed later on down the road. But I know Mumbar here is not part of that studio anymore and not part of that team.
It's
so,
Mumbauer.
Yeah, he's not part of that team anymore. So
yeah,
that sucks. And I mean, what would they really realistically be remaking in a Last of Us remake?
I guess
anyway,
to teach Ellie how to swim. Overhaul. I guess that would be it. They just teach Ellie how to swim. So she couldn't swim in the first one.
Swimming practice.
It's the first one remake, so they're not going to change anything.
Yeah, they're going to change the gameplay mostly. They probably change more. It's more of a graphical overhaul, I think. But
unless somehow the Final Fantasy VII or ghosts kind of come in there and they're like, oh my god, things.
No, it wouldn't be that. Yeah, no,
start retconning story and stuff like that. Oh no.
Yeah,
you look like you're disgusted at all this. What do you have?
Not so much that I'm disgusted. I'm just trying to think, like, realistically, like, is there any real need to make a remake of this, especially time frame wise?
Yeah. Here's how I was going to equate it to. I was going to equate it to the Star Wars sort of like remasters in the early 90s.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Where they're adding stuff and changing things and sounds and dialogue, and it doesn't make it better. Like, by far, it doesn't make it better. So that's where I'm equating it to.
Last of Us was so praised for the game that it is. Like, I don't think that there should be anything that's added to it. Like, if you really want to, like, develop something, you might want to do, like, maybe a spin-off game to, like, highlight maybe some different characters. But the amount of times that I've talked to people about The Last of Us and it's talked as though it's the holy grail of gaming, especially for the PlayStation series, that completely doing a rehaul or a revamp of it just doesn't seem needed at this point. Maybe like visual upgrades to come over to the PlayStation 5 if you really want to keep the legacy alive, sure. But I don't see the point in completely doing a remastered version. Not remastered, but specifically what they're looking to do here. Because it just sounds like they're using resources that they could be doing more. Because right now my whole thought process is, like, if you are a AAA company, you should be looking at innovating and moving forward instead of looking backwards. Because right now it seems as though the trend is, let's take a really great game and then do a rehaul instead of like, hey, we should actually put in these resources to come up with something fantastic so we have like the game of PlayStation 5. But right now they're looking at, let's look at the game of PlayStation 3. And that kind of irritates me at this point because
I agree with
2021.
You.
It's been a decade.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with you there.
Hasn't been a decade. It's been 9 years. No, 8 years since the
Okay,
game came
you know
out.
what? I'm close enough, Harv.
Yeah, close enough.
But that's what I mean.
It's
right?
an old game.
Yeah, it's not that old.
Yeah.
It's already been remastered. Like, we don't need to keep spending the same time on this game. Do something new, for God's sake. Please.
Yes.
No,
Just
I
give us
agree.
something new.
Like, honestly, and I was joking, Harv, like, it's only been 8 years. Only 8 years. Like, it's not even like, if I'd understand if it was like 20 years ago we made this game and now we're bringing it to a new audience. Like, all you're doing is you're bringing the same game to the same audience that have already enjoyed this game. Like,
not to mention you're gonna have a TV show that's gonna be telling the same story.
Correct.
Well, that's the thing. That's you basically said it yourself. It's its popularity that's kind of propelling all this stuff forward. Like The Last of Us Part 2, given its controversy, still won bajillions of awards. Like, so like at Sony, the marketing team is probably just like, we need everything Last of Us, just anything that's Last of Us, fucking green light right now.
Just
like,
an idea of
throw it out there.
Of the first game though, I'm like, why do that? But like, yes, spinoff. Okay, great. Where's Abby doing during this time? Fine, make that game.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Henry and Sam, tell that story. Whatever you want to do. Like,
because this is what they could do. They could release the game for PlayStation 5 and then have these like side stories as DLC. To say like, hey, this is what happens to this character, and here's like a 10-hour DLC that you can play to kind of get their backstory or like where they are now, or oh, there was this one particular person we didn't get to see. And I'm speaking as someone who's barely consumed any of this particular content, but like, hey, here's a character that people wanted to hear more about. So here's a slight, like, a DLC spinoff. I don't think they need to have a full-on game. If they wanted to do a full game, great. But this isn't needed.
Fee, you nailed the nail on the head earlier when you made jokes about Kingdom Hearts, because Kingdom Hearts did this. It's called Kingdom Hearts 2.8, where it was a remake of an older game, but there was new content for 3 in it that is only exclusive in that game. So yes, they could do what you're saying. Remake the game. Not remake the game. Just put the old game in there. Maybe new parts that you can do stories in. I don't know. Something.
Yeah. You're welcome, PlayStation. You didn't have to completely fuck one of your studios for an idea. All you need to do is listen to your consumers.
Yeah, which is they're doing a lot of
be
not
a
of right
miracle.
I think that one of the biggest things out of this is it sucks for Sony band that they couldn't make a Days Gone 2 out of this either. Just like thinking about like what they like, Days Gone 2 has so much potential in that game because of how good Days Gone 1 was. They have a good foundation, they have a good way to like make this game, and they just didn't have like the resources, and they just don't have the faith in Sony, or Sony doesn't have faith in them to make a Days Gone 2.
Yeah.
And it sucks. So now
they're
going to be rolling
Sony
their
just
dice
wants that
again.
formula.
Yeah, but they're rolling the dice again,
Yeah.
right? Like Sony Ben is rolling the dice again for saying like, oh, maybe our new IP is not gonna stick or anything like that.
Yeah.
I just want companies to innovate again. It's been so long since I've seen like companies really just like try something really, really new. I mean, the technology is moving forward. That's cool. Everything looks really nice, but the gameplay is feeling kind of samey now at this point. Everybody just wants to emulate the Last of Us walking simulator, idea where like people are walking, people are talking. We have small gameplay little loops here and there, but for the most part, every other game does it. Even God of War does it now. It's like, can we just stop?
Somebody needs to check the drawers, Frank. Somebody needs to check the drawers.
We need to check all these drawers for things, and we have to have
duct tape.
We have to have situations where like you can't run, but you can move your character around 360 while you're talking to this person who's like 20 feet behind you. It's like, no,
Frank,
can we just stop doing that
Let me
already?
ask you a question there.
What's up?
Do you think we'll see any innovation and new gameplay in the digital-only E3 2021?
I'm glad you asked that, Sly, because guess what? Our next article comes from gamesindustry.biz. Nintendo, Xbox, and Ubisoft back digital-only E3 2021 by Christopher Dring. So, guys, E3 is officially back. I can't remember if we got official confirmation, other than this week.
This was
but
it.
This was it. Okay. Yeah. E3 is officially back, and it's coming back in June as a digital event. They are being backed currently right now by Nintendo, Ubisoft, and Xbox. However, Sony and EA have not said anything about being part of the online event. On that note as well, Capcom, Take-Two, and Warner Brothers are also reportedly being in attendance, and Konami, which is a weird one because Konami doesn't make games anymore. So we'll see on that. What do we think? Do we think this is going to be a repeat of like last year where it was just like, here's some games that we can announce now, but we'll keep the real hitters for later? Or do you think this will actually feel more like a normal E3 this year?
Honestly, I really hope we just get a solid show. I just want people to come out and be like, hey, have some hype. Here's what we're working on. Here's something new. Here's something that's coming out soon. And then hit us with the like obscure like tease for something that's not going to come out for 6 years. That's all I want. I want like simple, formulaic, fun press conference. Like, I just, I don't want it to be a whole bunch of like crazy BS. Oh, we're going to give you dates for all these things that are super unrealistic that we know isn't going to happen. Because we saw so much of that, and I'm so tired of the like screenshot Twitter tweets about everything being delayed. Like, stop putting dates on things. we're still in a panini. Like, just do your thing, right?
Yeah. When it's ready,
Anybody
it's
else
ready.
with me?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's super dumb to give it a release date unless you can, like, don't give release dates for a game. I understand people are going to get super antsy and, like, speculate and all that over a release date, but until this game is, like, solid, ready to go, don't give a release date. I feel like it gives your game more bad will to give a release date than delay it later than it would be just to give me that date later.
Well,
I can.
it's what's happening right now with games, right? Like, people aren't giving like, sure, Deathloop and stuff like that. They had like definite release dates before the pandemic even started, right? So they had like a kind of a release date going. I think now companies are looking at like their calendar, be like, we can't release, like we don't know when release dates are going to happen, so let's keep it close to our vest and be like, okay, when we're about 2 months out or a month out, let's throw out the release date. Let's go. And it seems
Bethesda does that. Bethesda does that really
they've
well.
been doing it for a while. I feel like now companies are doing it more now because of the pandemic, right? Because how hard it is to develop games while all of this is happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's a double-edged sword in a lot of ways, because it's both a combination of investors and stuff like that to keep them qualms, like, okay, the game's coming out then, this is when hopefully we'll make revenue and then you'll get your cut back, whatever it ends up being. That's the double-edged sword of it. Again, I don't know how much all that needs to be public, like you're saying, like, so that way.
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
Yeah.
you can have an internal release date. You absolutely should have those deadlines. And, tell your investors, hey, we're aiming for this day, we're aiming for this month, whatever it is. But we don't need to know that. Right?
Yeah,
that doesn't need to be public information.
Unless it's something that I don't like, because Nintendo does that all the time, right? They'll have those reports sometimes, and then there's like, why is this public? I don't understand why the general public needs to know any of this. But so I don't know. I guess it's I don't know. I'm not a businessman. I'm a small town pizza lawyer. I don't know these things, but
Small type pizza lawyer. Fee, what do you think about this?
Yeah,
This event. Do you watch E3? Like, do you?
Yes.
Do you watch it every year? Okay.
Yep, I take time off work to watch it too, because I'm not.
Why not?
We used to watch. We used to watch it at work. Me and Mario used to just sit there. We would hope customers would not come in, and we would just be like, every time there was an announcement, we'd look them dead in the eyes and be like, "You better get the fuck out right now. You better get the fuck out. All right, they're announcing Spider-Man right now, motherfucker. All right,
Oh my
your
goodness.
phone does not matter."
Good God,
awesome.
no. I would take time off work, and honestly, I'm excited to see where this goes, and I think this is honestly how they should be doing it moving forward anyway, because it's essentially been digital for probably 60% of us anyway, because we stay at home, watch these events. Because quite honestly, even after the pandemic, the idea of going to E3 and being surrounded by tons of people, just not my vibe. So having the ability to watch it from home and then having the opportunity to see these like releases and announcements from the comfort of your own home, and also it coming back, is fantastic. Timeline wise, when it comes to like announcements, the pandemic's really, like, the best way to put this, and there's no easy way other than to say, like, it's fucked everybody. Release date wise, as we saw with Cyberpunk, quality wise.
I think that had issues before the pandemic.
Well, here's the thing.
But that's for a different time. That's a different rant.
Yeah, no, that's a different. I'm using specifically that as an example because that was another thing that was brought up when there was a bunch of issues with that particular game. And so right now I'm excited to see how it goes. And I don't think we're going to see PlayStation there, quite honestly, because PlayStation just likes to do their own thing now, because the second that they realize that we can do this ourselves and not have to worry about others, and we make a whole day for ourselves and not have to share the stage with anyone else, I don't think we'll see PlayStation. If PlayStation's there, I'm really excited, but I don't think we're going to see them there.
Do you think they'll announce around it? Like, they're not, because like EA EA Play does it where they're not E3, but they're like right next door to E3.
Yeah, they're like right in this little like section right
yeah.
next to there. It's like we just bought a little plot of land.
It's like there's the Staples Center, and then we're in the Nobu restaurant, and here's EA. You know, that's so weird.
I will say right now, I think they will be probably either a week or maybe like 4 days afterwards.
Possible.
Because I don't think they want to go before.
Timeline.
Yeah, they don't want to go before everybody. They want to go after because then they'll have all the spotlight after that. Just like how Sony does in all E3s. They're always the last ones to go, right?
Yeah.
So I think but on this note though, I'm so happy for this. I'm so happy.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
You're happy for
it too.
E3 to come back?
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
Because I want this digital event. And I don't want to mess like we had last year where it was just like 6 months of just bullshit.
Just drip feeding, just like, all right, I don't know, fucking maybe Crash Bandicoot's coming out. Or, I don't know, maybe Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk.
Maybe we're going to show the same game in 5 different showcases.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, man, as much as I love Jeff Keighley. I love you, Jeff Keighley. Hold on one second.
We love Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley, I love you. But I want you to know the way that you did it last year by drip feeding everything out for 3 months was asinine. And I don't know if it's so much your fault as everyone else, but please, let's not do that again. Hold on. Wrong channel. But yes, please. I adore E3. It is one of my favorite weekends that I get to enjoy either going or not going. The closest thing next to it is San Diego Comic-Con weekend because it's the same thing where I'm like online looking for video screenshots of people watching Hall H footage and stuff like that. These are my times. These are the times that I'm the most alive as a human being. So E3 as a week where, yes, conference, and it's just all it is just a series of ads that someone's selling me. And this is the only time that I'm totally hyped for this type of situation.
It's just trailer
after trailer. And then, that whole week is filled of like Sony, Xbox. And then for this, because they're showing, they said Capcom and Warner Brothers, what if they all had their own little personal directs? Just little things are just like, here's a Warner Brothers direct of like Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, fucking Ninja Turtle game. I don't know, whatever they got going on.
Ninja Turtle game.
They would just be so
What the hell
perfect.
do we think is Konami doing?
Definitely something Silent Hill related or Metal. I don't think they would do anything
Castlevania
else.
Season 4 of the anime.
Yeah. Maybe.
Castlevania fucking pachinko machine. Let's go.
They wouldn't. I shit you not. Konami. I mean, I'm saying this now, but I might eat my words on this. Konami would not have the fucking balls to come to an E3 and just announce a pachinko machine. And if they did, oh my god, they would get so much hate.
Legendary.
Yeah, they would. I would actually condemn them really, really hard. But
I would be so impressed, honestly.
Oh man, Konami, what happened to you guys?
Yeah. Well,
No.
speaking of
Yeah.
Konami.
Speaking of
I was waiting to
Konami.
make that. I was thinking about it too. I'm like, do we have anything else to say, or can I make this transition?
You know who also had his heart
for
broken
it.
off?
Make that same one too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Make
speaking
that
of Konami,
transition.
our next article, or actually our final article this week, comes from The Escapist. So, let me get here. Microsoft is reportedly in talks with Kojima Productions to publish its next game by George Yang. So, Microsoft's reign of domination isn't over, as according to VentureBeat, the giant is looking forward to looking to publish Kojima Productions' next game. Apparently, the news came out as the new Sony IP Abandoned caused some speculation this week, as people thought it was Kojima Productions' new IP, similar to how they used Moby Dick Studios to announce Metal Gear Solid 5. It's also worth mentioning that in early February of this year, during a call, Phil Spencer had a Luden statue in the background, which is the mascot for Kojima Productions. So what do we think, guys? Do we think this is another one of Kojima's infamous like ruse cruises, or is this just a bunch of coincidences that are just kind of...
I want to say one thing. I just want to tell Kojima to get his bag. That's it.
Get your bag.
Wherever he can get that shit, do it.
Yes.
If it's Microsoft, if it's Sony, if it's him funding his own game, whatever it is. He's doing it right. He's doing it right, honestly.
Yeah.
He's doing it perfectly.
You know what actually is kind of funny, because we were just talking about this earlier too. Games being innovative and stuff like that. The irony is, like, Kojima comes out and it's just like, hey, every single one of his games are innovating his last ones, right? But then he said, I'm gonna make the most innovative walking simulator known to fucking man. He did.
He's gonna make Death Stranding 2 Xbox exclusive.
Dude, he made the post-apocalyptic Mad Max version of the Paperboy, and it's so good. In my opinion, I enjoy this dumbass game. Clearly, I have a baby.
He said walking
you're
simulator.
You're caressing it in ways.
My BB.
In ways.
Oh,
So
God.
ominous. Oh gosh.
No.
No, we're out.
No.
I've never played it. I've never played a Kojima game. I just want to throw that out there right now.
Oh man,
You should. You should. They're very
good.
There's a lot of thought put into them, and I always tell people, if you're gonna start playing Kojima games, I definitely suggest you start from the beginning. You always start with Metal Gear Solid. I don't really suggest playing Metal Gear or Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. They're games that don't really do too much to really bring out what Kojima really brings to the table, but Metal Gear Solid as a series always innovates on itself. Metal Gear Solid was a insanely narrative game in a time where cutscenes were just basically pictures, reaction, that's it. There were barely any kind of cutscenes or barely any kind of really good voice acting going on at the time. And then you have a game like Metal Gear Solid 2 where we're going to add first person view, we're going to add better graphics, we're going to add even better acting, and then it just gets better and better and better from each game. And in a society where like all these games are starting to look very samey, Kojima kind of comes out and says, here, let's try something new, and then sets a bar for everybody else to kind of come up to. And I'm excited to see what Microsoft gets out of this. I mean, a lot of people have different opinions on Death Stranding, but I think it's a great game. It's not for everybody, but then again, it wasn't supposed to be the same game Kojima made before. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be something new, and that's what we want.
Have you played any Kojima games?
Hard
Played a
pause.
game?
She's played Smash.
He's pondering.
She's played Smash, so it has Kojima stuff in it.
It
Yeah,
does.
Yes, that's like
I wouldn't call that a Kojima
that's
game.
like the farthest reach ever.
I tried. I actually have no idea if he's played Smash Brothers. I have no idea.
Okay, I've played PT.
Okay.
Okay, that counts.
Basically-
All right, that counts.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Okay, so I have played PT, so okay, that's why I have.
Yeah,
played
which
Kojima.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure Harvard played that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, I'm a little bit indifferent because I was not super thrilled or excited about Walking Simulator that he made recently. But I'm interested to see how it goes, and I think Xbox, as I know, like we're definitely not like a strictly like we all love Xbox, but Xbox is definitely making some money moves, and that is one of them. Because if if Kojima's name is on something, the fanboys go nuts.
Yeah.
And so if they know that Kojima is going over to Xbox, this is just a whole other this is another win for Microsoft, and they're doing very well. Whereas we're seeing PlayStation doing a lot of moves recently that are honestly tarnishing the Sony name. So I'm interested to see how this kind of friendship goes between Kojima and Microsoft, and see where it goes from there. Because his next game might be something that's right up my alley. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see, whatever. One of my favorite things about Kojima, not necessarily is playing his games, but seeing what they do for games in general and the innovation. Like we were saying earlier, we want new shit, new mechanics, new stories. Like, I feel like I can speak for all of us saying we want innovation in this space. And he's doing it, so.
Yeah. Like, none of us can sit here and be like, man, that Kojima game was really normal and boring. Like, it's either, like, obscure as hell, or, like, because I will not commend him enough for, like, being, like, he thinks outside of the box. Haha, funny joke for Metal Gear. But,
It's fair.
Pretty decent.
It's pretty
Metal
fair.
Gear joke.
That was pretty good.
Thank you. Okay,
pretty-
so
Pretty good. Pretty good.
I just wanted to. I was hoping that it landed well. But I think
Captain America, I get that reference.
I cannot commend him enough for the work and effort that he's put into the game industry, and I'm very excited to see what he does with Microsoft money, because that is something else.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this. I have become a recent convert over the last few years, playing the last two, playing Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, and obviously beating Death Stranding as well. I have seen the evolution of what he's done from 2 to 3, and where we are at with even 5, with Metal Gear Solid 5 and Death Stranding. They're just things that you just don't think about, that this man's thinking about, that are insane and complicated and just on a whole other level. So yes, I'm excited for whatever wacky man this guy does. And good one on Microsoft. I don't know what's I mean, I guess the returns on Death Stranding were probably not the highest, which is probably a reason why it's on PC as well. But at the same time, hey, if Microsoft's got the money, go for it.
I mean, but the thing is, like, it's on PC, not from Sony, right?
It's 505.
It's 505. Yeah, that's who published it, right? So
yeah, but they still have some investment because they gave him the money to make the game to begin with.
Yeah, they basically jump started his company. So
Yeah.
no, dude. If Kojima can go to a place that's gonna get him another game, just do it, right? Like that's the only way. There's no allegiances when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather
you can make the money.
I'd rather him be a free agent than be stuck under one studio anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that can be our closing thought.
Yeah, whoever's doing the thumbnail, can I get the infamous picture of Kojima of this guy? He's just like praising the sky, right? He's just like this. And I want the picture of Microsoft, the Xbox logo on the guy's head, and then Kojima in the background. He's in the sky.
Yeah,
he's
I
got
know-
that
I know
like
what you're
Ryden
referring
thing look. You know exactly what I'm talking
Kojima!
about.
Yeah.
Kojima!
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that's our thumbnail.